the LG C4 lost to the Samsung S95D with grand authority. I'm using a Sony demo, so nobody can say that either LG or Samsung has the advantage here. But it's the image to the right on the Samsung S95D that will blow the LG G4 out of the water. Now, for those saying that that's just not fair, I can assure you the S90D blows the Samsung S95D out of the water. So by showing the S95D, which has a matte finish screen on it that lowers contrast, you can kind of get where I'm going with this. It's going to do way worse against something like the S90D, which in my opinion is the true flagship this year. We're talking the high-end level, okay? I don't care what anyone's camera will show you. I can guarantee you if I use an iPhone, it'll show a different picture quality than if I use a Samsung phone, than if I use a Sony camera, than if I use any kind of camera. All cameras, for the most part, are different with different kind of color sciences. So you're going to see some different things across YouTube videos. Not every YouTuber is going to be transparent about what you are looking at. I will tell you, though, LG has a color problem. I do not know how well you will be able to see this color problem. This color problem might sound absolutely fictitious on my end, but I assure you it's there. And if you buy it, you'll see that it is there. Now, I prefaced this by saying, again, LG lost and all that, because I want you to get an idea of why they lost. It has been the same thing I have been talking about for the better part of at least 5 years now on these particular OLEDs. It's just not red enough in the right way. It is orange. It is a type of orange specifically called blood orange. I am the only reviewer, YouTuber, content creator, journalist, anything like that reporting on this. No one else will even say that word, blood orange. Nobody will even make the association that maybe the reds are off. They tell you how magically delicious they are. Like, it's ridiculous. And you can kind of see it here against quantum dots. Real red to the right, fake red to the left. It's not hard, to be honest, about what we're seeing here. But there's a lack of motivation from a lot of people to do so. There's no jail time for lying to viewers and telling them that everything's awesome all the time. And there's, in fact, a big incentive to lie to you in the form of money. Which, again, I'm not implying that I am the only honest person in the world. But the most honest AV YouTuber is me, because another honest soul like myself has not come forward to do this like I do it. Which sucks. Because if you look to the right, the strawberries all day, every day are going to be not just more red, but also there's richer contrast. Look at the shadows in between the strawberries. It's darker. The relevancy of this is we know that matte finish screen on the S95D to the right kills contrast. Yet here it is baking the pants off of LG in terms of contrast. And that's after my settings. I will in real time get up, grab my remote, and show you where it came from. Because I think a lot of people would benefit from knowing where it came from. So with the magic remote, we're going to type in 11131111 to activate the HDMI signaling override menu, which you'll be glad to know I'm not using BT2020. If I were to do that, it would crush out detail, and that detail could not be recovered. That's just one of the downsides of this year. I don't like it. Another thing that I've noticed is that, again, everything is just way too raised on shadow detail. Across the board, regardless of manufacturer, it's like they all came together and had a general consensus that this year was the year of shadow detail. And to do so, SDR was going to look awful. Now, again, I will also say everything I'm talking about right now is SDR. HDR assessments will come later. That being said, this is where it came from. It's really pink. It's overly blue. This is blown out and very cartoony. This is very, very green. I've never seen green strawberries. This, again, very acidic looking, very fake, very blue. This, more of the same, very dead, very washed, very ugly. We look at this, filmmaker mode. I mean, more of the same, very yellow. And then we go back to what I created. It's the closest thing to a real representation. I mean, even if you go through their filmmaker mode, reference accurate what I've created. You get the color back in the strawberry, so I've done work to it, as you see. I am genuinely giving LG their best chance to fight because I don't have a dog in this fight or race in this horse. I don't care. But I do care when I see certain things. And one of the things that I'm noticing, color red. That is probably the most vile color on LG you'll notice. Now, if you don't have a trained eye, it might be hard to spot, but I can guarantee you, if you go on YouTube and you pull up the Sony 4K demo, Triluminous demo, you will see this. It's a video from 9 years ago, okay? And you'll see it. It'll be clear as day. That is not red. That is like a greenish red. Meanwhile, to the right, I've got the purest shade of red I could ever hope for. Of course, second to the S90D, which is on a monstrous tier that is just heavenly. I'm not lying. It literally, just thinking about it takes my breath away because I remember what it looks like. That's what's in store for you on the S90D, S95D. But more importantly, the S90D, which is its direct competitor. And I'm saying this not to disparage LG or to say that LG is somehow the worst brand on the planet Earth. I'm saying it because when you look at these differences, they add up and they create a final picture. Pause right here. Look at these flowers. Red is the single most important color in any television. Next, secondly, to blue. These are the most impactful colors you're going to see. The colors your eyes will most gravitate towards. Explosions in a movie, bright red stoplights, bright red laser beams. You're going to see these things. And they're going to look inferior on your LG, on your QD-OLED. This is why we champion for quantum dots. This is why anybody ever bothered to put quantum dots in an OLED in the first place. Because when they saw a QLED, they said, wow, that color is undeniable. Only if we had OLED black leveling control and LED brightness on top would be nice. That's why they figured out how to do that as well. So now we have LED brightness, OLED black level, and quantum dot color. It is literally something that you could only dream of. This right here is a TV I think belongs in everyone's living room. Not some chaffa ass washed up freaking QD-OLED. I don't see it. And again, to be very clear, it looks like this with my settings. You want to see where you were before me? This is what you're going to see. This is what your favorite YouTubers are going to use. Let's say standard mode. That's what it looks like. That's very blue. That's very, 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 very washed out. You can tell if you look at the flower right here. Follow my magic remote cursor over the top of the flower. Probably can't see it. I'll use my finger. Look at the top of the flower. Look at that shade of yellow. And then immediately look over there. That's how you can tell it's washed out. Because it is. People try to lie, but lies have a way of being discovered and brought to the surface. The truth always comes out. You can verify this stuff. Like again, this is the mode they use in the retail stores to capture everybody's eyes. But comparatively to a properly adjusted Samsung S95D, it's not going to compare no more than it would to an S90D. And you can play this game with literally anything you look at. Right? Let's go to cinema mode. Cinema mode, monstrously washed. Monstrously washed. They tell you this is accurate. They tell you this is real life. I have never seen dead washed flowers. Even dying flowers are very colorful. And this is where I become like almost saddened because at a certain point, it's like delivering bad news over and over again. And it just, if you have a modern TV that you've bought within the last couple of years, you're probably better off holding on to it. Because I can't tell you if you have a LG C10, that this would be a massive upgrade over a C10. The reds still suck. The C10 did have some legendarily bad red, but especially if you have a C1, you really do have no real reason to want to upgrade outside of maybe the gimmicky features they push. And for people, I guarantee you, they're going to look at this red On standard, this is default. And they're going to be like, I don't know what Quantum was talking about. My reds don't look anything like what he's showing. I do have real red. It's not blood orange. And you are 100% correct. You do have real reds if, big if, okay? If you use cold 20. So if we go into advanced settings, we go to color, we go to our white balance. This is how LG does it. Look at that right there. That's unacceptable. Cold 20. Literally, damn near the coldest this TV could get. They do that so that you believe in your heart of hearts that you bought a good TV. Because if you so much as even put it on neutral, your reds will turn blood orange. And I will show you that in real time right here today. Here we are, color temperature, cold 20. We're going to go to neutral. And watch what happens when we just go to neutral. They sour. They literally get sour. Now again, not something everybody's going to show you, but it does happen. Versus cold 20, where they were maybe a little bit more sweet. Now you can only imagine when you start using more of the accurate modes, this is where it becomes a problem for people who want accuracy, because if you use cinema mode, lauded for its accurate performance, well then you can go to color temperature and you'll notice it won't be on cold 20 anymore, because warm 50 is accurate. That's the correct look. That's the cinematic look. So if you're going for the real look, the director's intent, the real world lifelike look, well, this is what it actually looks like. That's jaundice. That's poor. That's ugly. Again, Sony 4K demo, triluminous demo. Use it. Look at it. It won't lie to you. People will. But your own eyes won't. And I'm giving you a tangible example because I want you to know the difference between people talking and people showing you. And again, you be the judge, but this is what they did. It does look terrible. Now I'll pause it again right here. Look at the grass. I mean, this will tell on itself every day of the week. Let's go back to standard, where it's cold 20. This is where you're going to see the most dramatic example of how bad it is. Look at that. Your grass is blue. You ever seen blue grass? It's supposed to be green. This is the problem I have with them. Every year, these apologists for lazy, lackluster products get up there, pause right here, and again, 1 minute, 25 seconds into the Sony 4K demo triluminous demo, right? You can see it. It's clear as day. Now we hear all these stories about Samsung's grass being terrible and its foliage looking awful, but look at what LG is doing. That's the standard mode that most people are going to use. So let's say you're not a calibrator. You didn't pay $4.99 to have Quantum TV do it for you to get images that look like this, to get away from that blue shit right there, to get this. Well, this is what you're going to be stuck with. Let's go to Vivid. Show you what that looks like. That's blown out. You can't even use that. The whole image is clipped. And for those who aren't familiar with clipping, it just means you have massive overbrightening to the point where you lose detail where you're supposed to have them. And that's the problem. Right? Okay, then let's go into cinema mode. Surely that's accurate. No. Still blue. And in fact, that quite literally looks like ungraded log footage that I've seen before. And if you're not into videography, that just means a photo that was shot in a picture profile that shoots flat on purpose so that you go in and add contrast in all your color corrections later. It's basically like a digital negative. It looks horrible. And that's what this does. So you either have acid-looking picture quality, where everything is overly bright in the wrong areas, blown the hell out, void of any realistic color that you've seen in the world, or you have this like ugly, jaundice, washed out, extreme flatness to your picture. And they sell it as accuracy. They sell it as director's intent. Look at that grass and tell me who has the better grass. This is filmmaker mode. For anybody wondering, this is the director's intent mode. This is the mode you're supposed to just be able to slap it in and you're done. Director's intent, you're done. Now, we can go a step further. We can go ISF bright. We can go ISF dark. And it'll look the same regardless, because the problem is the way that they do things. And this is as simple as it is. Doesn't mean I'm the only person in the world that could ever be right. Again, look at how dead the picture is. This, again, picture speaks 1,000 words. Let it talk to you, because it's telling you everything you need to know. That being said, I will do a more in-depth comparison showcasing different aspects of this, because this video is going to be extremely long if I cover everything. But you are starting to get an idea after just a couple of days of what you're getting and what you're not getting. And again, this is filmmaker mode. Look at that water. It tells you what it is very clearly. Quality, it most certainly is not. Filmmaker mode right there. This is what you paid for. This is what they rant and rave about. This is the TV everybody needs in their home, and it can't do what its competitor is doing. Let that sink in, and stay tuned. Subscribe for more, because in the next one we'll be showing off even more of the LG blunder this year. That is the iPhone mentality.